It's a very hot day. The sun is shining, and there's not a single cloud in the sky. Are we there yet? Asks Peppa. Are we nearly there yet? Are we nearly there yet? Asks George. We're nearly at the beach, says Mummy Pig. We're going to the beach, says Daddy Pig. Suddenly she sees a small pool of water at the top of the mountain. Hurrah! She shouts. She wades in and starts drinking the water. I wonder if they'll let us fill up our car with petrol, says Daddy Pig. We're home, they shout. We're home, they shout. We're home, they shout. We're home, they shout. I think they might, says Mummy Pig. Just then, a truck drives past. Excuse me, shouts Daddy Pig. Could you help us? Our car has broken down. Sure thing, says the driver. He leads them all to a nearby garage. Here you go, he says. Fill her up. Daddy Pig pays for the petrol. Then they all get back in the car. At last, says Peppa. We can go home now. Just then, George falls asleep. Oh no, says Mummy Pig. He's going to have a terrible nightmare about being lost in the desert. Peppa strokes George's hair. Don't worry, George, she whispers. You're safe at home now. You were only having a bad dream. George opens his eyes and smiles at Peppa. We're home, says Peppa. And we never even found any dinosaurs. Well, says Daddy Pig, there's no such thing as dinosaurs anyway. So, says Peppa. Well, that's disappointing. Are you all right, Peppa Pig? Says Mummy Pig. Of course I am, says Peppa. Being lost in the desert with my family was an exciting adventure. Well, says Mummy Pig, it certainly was an adventure, but I'm glad we're home. So refreshing. Just then, a big lizard scuttles across the rock and jumps into the water. Yuck, says Peppa. There's a lizard in it, she shouts to George, but George can't hear. He's fast asleep. Peppa carries on drinking, but she doesn't feel very well. The water must have been dirty after all. Peppa feels sick and she collapses onto the floor. The lizard darts out of the water and scuttles off. Help, says Peppa. Can anyone help me? Then, a friendly-looking kangaroo hops past. Are you all right? He asks. I don't feel very well, says Peppa. I drank some water from a pool at the top of the mountain, and now I feel sick. That water isn't very good, says the kangaroo. You should have had some of mine. It's much nicer. The kangaroo hops off and soon returns with a large water bottle. Here you go, he says. This will make you feel better. Peppa drinks some of the water, and slowly she begins to feel a little bit better. Thank you, she says. Now I feel a lot better. Where were you going with that water? I was going to put it in my sand sculptures, says the kangaroo. I'm making a sculpture of me and my babies. Would you like to help? Yes, please, says Peppa. That sounds fun. Together they make some amazing sculptures in the sand. I can't wait to play in the sand and splash in the water, says Peppa. Me too, says George. Peppa and her family are going on a trip in the car. Then suddenly, the car overheats and breaks down. Oh, no. What are we going to do now? Says Mummy Pig. Don't worry, Mummy, says Peppa. I'm sure we'll be able to fix it, says Peppa.
No!
Let's have a look, says Daddy Pig. He looks under the bonnet for a bit. Oh dear, he says. We've broken down in the middle of the desert and we're all out of fuel. We're going to have to walk to the nearest garage. It's about 3 miles that way, says Daddy Pig, pointing in the direction of a distant building. 3 whole miles, says Peppa. That's ages away. We'll need some water, says Mummy Pig. And some shade, says Peppa. Don't worry, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. I know just the place. He leads them all off down a sandy track. In the back of the car, Peppa Pig and her little brother George are arguing about something. Are we there yet? As they drive along, the temperature gauge goes up and up and up. Soon they come to a rocky outcrop with some trees growing in the shade of it. There's also a small spring bubbling out of the rocks. Hurrah, says Peppa. This will be perfect for a picnic. They sit down under the trees to rest a while. I'm so thirsty, says Peppa. She leans over to drink from the spring, but then she stops. Yuck, she says, it's dirty water. Don't be silly, Peppa, says Mummy Pig. It's just a little muddy. You'll be fine. Peppa takes another look at the spring. There's a snake in it, she says. I hope it's not a poisonous snake, says Daddy Pig. Well, it's not as long as the one I saw earlier, says Mummy Pig. Good, says Peppa, but I still don't want to drink it. What are we going to do? Says George. I'm so thirsty. Don't worry, George, says Peppa. I've got an idea. Peppa runs off into the desert. Where are you going, Peppa? Shouts. Daddy Pig. I'm going to find some nice clean water for my brother, she shouts back. Peppa looks around and spots a sign pointing towards a distant mountain. I bet there's some clean water up there, she says, so Peppa sets off up the side of the mountain. It's really hot now, and Peppa's already starting to feel thirsty again. Soon, it's time to go. Peppa and George say goodbye to the kangaroo and his babies. Then they all set off towards the distant building. They all drive off down the dusty road. Soon, they're back at home. Peppa and George run through the door. The end.